What's up YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey, and this is Uncle Smokey Stock Trades. And before I start this video, I would like to say, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt, and do your own DD.
Today we're going to talk about ticker symbol MMAT, Metamaterials Inc. We're going to break down the TA, we're going to look at the options chain, we're going to go through both Ortex and Fintel, we're going to talk a little bit about that AWE conference that happened today, and then at the end of the video, maybe I'll give some prediction. Maybe I won't. We'll see. You're going to have to stick around to the end to find out what happens. So, today we opened up the day at $4.82. We hit a high of $5.49, a low of $4.81, but we're not going to talk about that. And we closed the day out at $4.95, finishing up 5.3% on the day, on roughly 19 million in volume. Guess what, guys? We're freaking back. We're back where we want to be. So, as you can see right here on the chart, we utilized $5.50 as a level of resistance. We knew that was going to happen. 550 is not only psychological, but it is technical in this instance. And the shorts know that. And this is where they really took over, was right here. Also, you'll notice that this was at 11:30. First thing we want to talk about is where all the volume went today. So, in the very first hour of trading, we had about 3.75 million in volume. And then we had about another 4 million in volume in the next hour, which led us right to here. And then an amazing 4 million in volume, which brought us all the way back down into this area. And that was all short volume. This whole third hour of trading was short volume. Absolutely crazy, right? But think about it this way. We just made a pretty extreme run all the way to the north. So naturally, as we always do, we see pullbacks. But again, we never want to see this kind of major short volume. It's just the hedge funds taking control, manipulating the stock any way they possibly can. But just keep in mind, anytime they do that, it's just lining our pockets. It's making it so that they have to pay more and cover more when the final short squeeze does actually happen. Now, the other thing I want to point out is look what showed up as great levels of support today. $4.90. We bounced off of that a couple of times, actually utilizing it as a level of consolidation in the last hour of trading. So, absolutely fantastic. Now, unfortunately, yes, we ran all the way up 15% on the day, and we pulled all the way back to only having 5% on the day, but it's still a positive green finish. We finished up 5%. Always look at the bigger picture, guys. You know that it's going to come down after extreme runs. It almost always does. Hedge funds and market makers do not want this thing to stay way up there. They don't want this to be parabolic. They just don't. They know what's going to happen. They know it's going to create FOMO, and it's going to cause for them to have to do a lot of premature coverage. So they're battling. They're battling us to keep this down, and we're doing very good keeping it up. All right, let's go on to the very next chart. This is the 1 hour chart. So what you're going to see right here is we've got a cup and handle forming. Let's get those out of there. We've got a cup and handle. Boom, baby. There it is. And the end of the cup and handle formed today, all in one day. So in the 1 hour chart showing a pretty much cup and handle setup, I'm thinking that's pretty bullish, especially since when you look right here, we've got the cross. Now again, this is the 1 hour chart, but it's still the golden cross nonetheless. Now, we are seeing that the MACD is below the signal line, and we have a small histogram bar, but what you'll notice is it's smaller than the one before that, just ever so slightly, showing that it is a trend reversal, and the RSI is hooking up. Let's move on to the 1 day chart. All right. So here's what we want to look at on the 1 day chart. First and foremost, we want to take a look right here, and I've been talking about this a lot lately. So here is my directional SMA lines. We've got the 50-day, and we've got the 200-day. The 200-day is red, and the 50-day is blue. Now, I always talk about the golden cross with the 50 cross of the 200, and it happened right back here. And what we've had since then is a reverse in trend. It finished out its bottoming and then has hooked up. And what you're going to see is we have finally remounted the 200-day MA right there. So, Now that we're back on top of the 200-day MA, that's a very bullish signal, especially when you come right down here. You see the RSI is hooking up with momentum. It is currently pushing at about 51. And the MACD is currently hooking extremely up. I mean, we're talking getting ready to cross that signal line, and the histogram has dropped dramatically. So I'm expecting, of course, with good volume and a positive buying pressure, I would expect to see a green bar start to form in the histogram tomorrow if it isn't just a very thin red line. And I would also expect to see the MACD to start to make that golden cross in the MACD area down here. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the options chain. So here we are at the options chain. 33,200 calls, 2,180 puts. We're going to call that 95% calls, 5% puts. Still extremely bullish. This stock never gives up the bullish sentiment in the options chain. The other thing you want to look at is the implied volatility, currently sitting at about 138%. I'm sorry, 138%. Now, let's look at where all that volume went in the options chain today. So you could tell right here the November 19th expiration date has increased exponentially. In fact, the what is this? The $5, $6, and $7 strikes have all increased, as well as in the December category, those have also almost doubled today. And always remember, as we come closer to expiration on the November 19th expiration date, or the you would expect the open interest to probably start picking up even more and more and more, especially when we're having green candles. We're having momentum pushing into the stock, buyers pushing into the stock. You're going to start to see this open interest really start to pile in, because the closer we get, the more people are going to want to move into this very close to in the money strike. Let's go ahead and move on to Ortex. All right, here we are at Ortex. Let's hit refresh, see if we got any new data. It changed a little bit, unfortunately. All right, so we got everything up here. Now, unfortunately, today I was not able to put out a morning briefing. I was on the road. It happens. It is what it is. That's retail for you, I guess. So I was out doing my deliveries, and I was not able to update the people. I'm sorry for that, but it happens. You know that. So today we're looking at 90.45% in the utilization category. We're at 4.43% cost to borrow. The days to cover is currently at 2.3 days. Shares on those currently sitting at 36.23 million, which is 26.12% of the free float. And these numbers have not changed as of yet, as far as I can tell. No. And as of average number of days on loan, according to Ortex, it's at 23.65 days. And that is as of October 29th. And remember, that is over the course of 3 months, showing that short positions have been holding their short positions long for roughly 24 days. All right, so here is the intraday stuff. This is the stuff that actually updates throughout the day, showing that we did have a negative 3% in the overall short interest, showing that they returned about 2.5 million shares, even though we did borrow about 1.5 million shares, showing that there was a borrow change of a negative 1 million. That does change the current estimated short interest to 17.46 million, which is 12.5% of the free float. Now, guys, always keep this in mind. This is an estimated number. It says estimated right above it. So don't take this for what it really is. It could be much higher than this. But then again, it could be a little lower as well. But I would have a feeling that it's a little bit more higher than it is lower, considering we did just recently come off of a major bear run over the course of the last few weeks. You know, shorts were stepping in pretty heavily trying to keep it down there. Let's move on to Fintel. So with Fintel, it's showing they have 3.16 days to cover. Also showing that it is 15% of the free float, a little bit higher than what we're showing over here and here. We are 77.86 out of 100 on the short squeeze score. Kind of irrelevant at this point. As I've said many times over, I'm not ready for a squeeze. And neither are you. You just don't know it yet. All right. So, short shares availability. Showing 1.1 million shares available. And now keep in mind, guys, that's really not a whole lot of shares. As we've seen that number show up many times before and almost double, in fact, and it brings it all the way back down to very low numbers. Now, you'll notice that over the course of the last day, they did return a bunch of shares. And we said that with Ortex. They were returning shares over here, roughly 2.5 million. So it makes perfect sense on why we're seeing a different number there. And their short borrow fee rate's at 3%. Okay, dark pool info. Let's refresh this. Don't know what happened there. Oh, yeah, I do. They started putting ads in. What do you know? I love this show, The Office. They're wanting me to log in. Holy cow. It logged me out. Hold on. All right, there we are. Sorry about that. Silly chickens. There we go. All right. So, according to the FINRA data, there was 5,127,000 roughly in short volume. And of course, they always make up of roughly half. It was a little over, of course, of the volume all day. FINRA is the dark pools. And that was about 47.7% of the overall FINRA volume was short. And same thing down here. You're seeing overall, and this is just according to this stuff here, 51%, over 51% was short volume today. And we still finished green, 5% up. They can't win. They can't beat us. They dragged us down for a little bit, but they couldn't get us where they want us. They couldn't get us below 4. Okay, and that's the goal. They want to get us down as low as possible. We made a respective bounce at 405, and we have basically climbed since. Yeah, we've had some sideways action, but we've climbed. And these last couple of days have been absolutely fantastic. All right, we're going to keep moving on. All right, so here we are in the buyers category. Nothing much happened today. 13F, SG America Securities LLC increased their position. Average share price roughly $6.63. So, the one thing I also want to remind everybody of, in case there's any new viewers here, this information is delayed. It's delayed. All information is delayed to the retail investor, but this information is especially delayed. They have X amount of time from the time they file their information to file this. Okay, so this could have happened anytime before, I think it's like 45 days ago. It could have happened any of that time. So just always keep that in mind. Any of this stuff you see in here, it's not like it happened actually today or actually yesterday. This is just when the filing showed up. It actually happened long before that. I'm positive on it. They wait to the very last minute to put this kind of stuff out there. All right, now, the last thing I want to talk about. This stuff right here, the AWE night. So, I understand Sterling was not able to get the first half of this meeting, and that's unfortunate. I was able to listen to the entire thing. I was driving down the road in my delivery truck, so I had my earbud in, and I logged in extremely early to be able to get in to listen to this Zoom meeting. So I did listen to the whole entire thing. It was pretty enlightening, and I am actually working on trying to get some information for you guys. I did send a message to both Gavin Newton and Matthew Olson to see if I can get a copy of the recorded video from the Zoom meeting. I'm sure everybody would like to see it all the way through and hear what they have to say. But I'm just going to kind of give you a brief recap on what was said throughout the meeting. Now, first and foremost, this was not a catalyst event. I hope nobody thought it was going to be. They weren't going to initialize any partnerships. This was basically a way for them to tell you the current challenges that are still being faced in the augmented reality field, such as, first and foremost, the most important thing was privacy. The user's privacy is of utmost importance, and it's an extreme challenge. Being able to protect everybody's information is difficult, especially when you've really got it out there for everybody to see with augmented reality. Another one of their big issues was batteries, battery life, battery recharging, things like that. There was also a talk of something about the wavelengths, the way they bounce inside the lens or something like that. And again, I'm no scientist, so I don't know any of this stuff, but I'm just relaying to you some of the things I had overheard in the conversations. And of course, I'm going to try and figure out a lot more of this stuff for you. Another one of the things that I did here that I found extremely interesting, that maybe some of you guys will find interesting as well, is Jerry Ellsworth used to be a professional race car driver. No clue! Had no idea. But she did say that she was a professional race car driver. Then she did get funded to do a startup, and she's the CEO of Tilt 5. And by the way, I will be visiting the Tilt 5 booth at the AWE. I think that is extremely interesting. I did a lot of reading on it once I got back to my store today. And she's got some interesting stuff, and I'm going to try and get an interview with her. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, one of the other things that I did over here in the conversations was that Metamaterials has a lot of the solutions for these challenges in augmented reality. So, yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't like the most constructive conversation. In fact, or I'm sorry, conference. In fact, it was kind of boring. A lot of science. There was a lot of science being talked about. In fact, at one point, there was even almost a small debate, I would say. Not like an argument, but a debate on maybe how things have been and could be type of deal. So, I don't know. It's interesting, and I'm hoping I can get a copy of this for you guys. If I can, that'd be fantastic. And, of course, I will just post it right out to my channel, letting everybody know that it's out there with a quick, brief video beforehand. But, yeah. So, again, wasn't a catalyst, and that's why you saw a buy the hype, sell the news situation. I was just really pumped to see that we were still able to hold about 5% of our gains today, showing that there's a lot of interest in Meta. Now, with that being said, I also do want to say that these guys here, Covestro, Metamaterials, of course, us, Microsoft HoloLens, Facebook, Tilt 5, and Stanford University, all are kind of working together. There is conversations that are being made between all of these people. I am absolutely 100% positive on it. You know for sure Meta, Covestro, Facebook, and Stanford are all talking. So it would be very logical to believe that Tilt 5 and Microsoft HoloLens have been having conversations with George as well. Sorry about that. I noticed everything was starting to lag on me. I hope that all came out okay. Anyway, so with that all being said, hopefully, like I said, I get that recording. I've reached out to these two guys right here. This one here, he's the president of Sunrise International, the partnership director of AWE, and Matthew is he was the moderator of the entire event. And if you go to his Twitter feed at Matthew Olson, you'll notice that he also has a almost like a blog or a journalist spot. It's linked right into his Twitter page. We can go in and read some of his papers. He does a lot of engagement on the AR and VR world, so he's very knowledgeable in the entire sector, and I'm looking forward to having some conversations with him. I think he's going to be able to give me a little bit of an education on AR and VR if I can get that kind of opportunity. With that being said, let's move on to, that's right, my prediction. All right, so here we are at the 5-minute chart, which, as we know, this is my favorite time frame to do this in. We've got a couple of key lines up here on the chart that we know of. The green line is Sterling's mark, and the yellow line is the $4.90 mark. Now, right up here, we've got $5.50, which did act as a level of resistance today. And here's what I'm looking for to happen. I am not going to throw out this crazy high prediction like everybody wants. It's not going to happen because we've got to stay realistic in this entire venture through the stock market journey. This thing is not going to go from $4.90 to $10 tomorrow. And if it does, I'll crumple up every piece of paper in this room and eat my words. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and start with the bear prediction today. Let's go back to the old way of doing things. So, if we see our morning dip tomorrow, which we may, it's Tuesday, we'll see, who knows. If we see our morning dip tomorrow, I would expect for us to bounce right off of Sterling's mark. The bear prediction is not going to be crazy tomorrow. You know why? We've seen a couple of great days of green volume. Lots of volume have stepped in. And we've got the tailwinds of great news right on us. We are there's a lot of excitement in this. We are Meta. We are the original Meta. Now you've got Facebook calling themselves Meta. You've got a lot of AR and VR stuff really coming to light. Facebook really shoving a lot of attention into it. We are Meta, guys. All right? And everybody knows that. They're seeing that. They know that we make the films to make this all possible. We've got the technology to make this all possible. And in fact, that meeting that happened even said that. We have the capabilities of doing it. That guy, the CTO of Metamaterials that we have talked about, Mr. Waldron, he is the owner of DigiLens. They spoke about DigiLens a couple of times in that conference yesterday. And he's the owner and founder of DigiLens. So it just shows that we've got a lot of backing and we got a lot of experience in AR and VR. Just in our company alone, not to mention the people that we are reaching out to talk about this. I don't want to say partnerships yet because we don't know that. Yeah, we know Covestro. That's really the only one. Oh, and Stanford. All right. So, back to what I was talking about. You guys threw me off, and you aren't even talking to me. All right, so we see the morning dip. I see 476 as being the mark. If it happens to break through that, 470 would probably be the catch, 465 at the lowest. Bouncing off of that, coming back towards the $4.90 mark. Now, if we do come down here, expect for it to bounce off of this once or twice in the bear prediction, more than likely trading sideways, even as low as the $4.76 mark by the end of the day. Now, if we go bull, which I really think we're going to, here we go. Bouncing directly off of $4.90, coming straight for $5. If we can crack through $5 on the first try, 510 will be quick. Bouncing off of 510, back towards 505 before we make another attempt at 510. Breaking through that to 520. 520 has showed up as a technical level of resistance a few times in the past. It is probably going to show up as resistance again. Again, this is on normal volume, not heavy volume. If we have heavy volume, it'll probably blow right through it. So bouncing off of 520 back towards 515, making another approach towards 530 and 535. This is a very comfortable channel for us. 530 and a 535 channel. We've traded here across days, so it's comfortable for us to be there, and this is where I would love to see it for us to get and consolidate. If we can consolidate through this channel and hold this level, I firmly believe that we will put ourselves in line for the very next leg up. Now, with extreme amounts of volume, we will pass through this and push back to 550 again, bouncing off of it more than likely one more time. I think a third test is what we're going to need, a 550 to get through it. If we can get to 550 two more times tomorrow, great. If not, that's fine. We'll approach it again another day. No big deal. With that being said, I don't foresee us getting that high. I think 530, 535, 545 at the highest end tomorrow, and that's on my bull prediction. Like, subscribe, make sure you do what you got to do. Comment for the algorithms below. Share these videos with your friends and family so that way the word of meta gets out to everybody. Also, keep in mind, I'm going to AWE next week, so get the questions ready. If there's any specific exhibitors, sponsors you want me to stop by, I will absolutely do that as much as I can. I'm going to ask all kinds of questions. I've got press passes. I'm going to be trying to get lined up with all kinds of people to talk to. I heard that Tesla's going to be there. There's a chance that Elon Musk could be there. I'm hoping George is there. God, I want to meet that man. I want to shake that man's hand. He's gotten me so freaking pumped up about this company. It's unreal. Yeah, I mean, I'm just pumped about the whole situation. Peace, guys.